the start of a new day at Middlebury.
Okay, David.
A day of endless possibility. To discover.
Then you asked me, I was ashamed. 18.
Create.
What?
The 18.
Compete.
Big holes, it's hard to make yourself,
So, yeah.
Share.
Do I have a volunteer to break the circuit here?
And learn.
So for my paper,
To understand.
I was thinking of continuing what I was doing.
Learning is a journey that takes your entire life. And as it has for more than 200 years, at Middlebury that journey begins with the liberal arts.
What are you planning to do this fall?
秋天的时候，我打算上中文301，可以传就是现在。
The most distinguishing element of a Middlebury education, in my view, is the student-faculty collaboration and the way in which students work with faculty to develop confidence and to develop mastery of a subject, and how they can take that to the wider world.
Each of the students will have a Chinese roommate, and you'll get to know the city through that roommate.
For Middlebury students, the choice to come to a school like Middlebury often represents, in their minds, a sort of balance between wanting a contemplative environment, such as a beautiful, isolated place like Middlebury can provide, and that we offer a tremendously rich array of options, but then it's up to them to choose the ones that their passions lead them to.
See almost the White Mountains off in the distance.
If you believe in the idea that our students can legitimately create knowledge, and that they have the authenticity and the integrity and the ability to do that, and then if you interact with them as people who are creating knowledge, the classroom becomes a whole new place. You can't just say you're doing that. You can't just have a student give a good answer and say, great answer, or I really enjoyed your paper. You really have to buy into and see the evidence that students have that ability to lead.
He really believes that each one of us is, according to him, is an agent of change, and so he just takes that to heart and makes sure that we have what we need to accomplish these almost insurmountable tasks.
We still need to talk about this other issue.
200 microliters directly on that plate. Add glass beads, shake it around, and you're golden. There's your negative control.
So I'm very interested in research, because biology is kind of the future.
What I'm doing is introducing techniques to the students that are presented in the context of real-world questions. We work with the organism that causes dental cavities, Streptococcus mutans, and their job is to clone a gene to figure out what that gene contributes to the disease process.
A broad range of perspectives is essential to creating a dynamic learning community.
Having a place where people are of all different life experiences and backgrounds just by default enriches one's educational experience.
A Middlebury education is also enriched by learning that takes place outside the classroom.
We give ourselves up. They're still not confident outside.
If the defense gets it, you have to have one good pass out in every situation.
You spin, right? You spin?
Subdivide the quarter notes and don't be taken by surprise by these accidents.
The college's location in rural Vermont offers a special experience, time for reflection and contemplation, and a genuine connection with the natural world.
The whole garden idea was started by students 5 years ago, and they have been raising crops for the college dining services for the last 4 years. Their goal was not just to grow vegetables. Their goal was to provide a place where students could have a more direct relationship to the earth and to be more aware of the cycles of the seasons.
A unique constellation of programs sets us apart, like the Loaf School of English.
Middlebury College gives, I believe this figure is correct, about 225 graduate degrees a year. About 80 of those from the School of English and the remainder from the language schools. So we are the graduate programs, the graduate schools of Middlebury College.
But I don't know if you realize that the culture that we're dealing with was a culture that had a strong semiotics of dress.
Dante sets out to do.
The uses of a liberal arts education in the 21st century are the uses that an ancient Greek or a man or a woman of the Renaissance would have found for it. The liberal arts train the whole personality. It exercises all of the spiritual muscles of the human being.
Brox's writing interfered with her possibilities for success as a farmer, and I'm wondering, do we have the same question about Seamus Heaney?
Middlebury has long been a pioneer in language education, and today, when the world needs articulate, well-informed citizens, Middlebury still leads the way. 60% of our undergraduates study abroad.
They need to know other cultures, and in order to understand other cultures, they need to know the languages. And they not only need to know the languages, they need to really understand how to use the language in a cultural context.
We think it's important for students to actually get deeply inside another culture. That will help them both understand that other culture, but we also think that also helps them understand their own. So there's something about being sort of transformed by that experience of really getting into a different place. And so we put as much emphasis as we can on that transformative aspect of the study abroad experience.
And now, through the affiliation with the Monterey Institute of International Studies, our vision and reach are expanding even further.
There was a really nice interplay between the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China here.
When you ask the students what is the most special thing about the institutes, they say it's their fellow students. It's the fact that you're rubbing shoulders with people from different cultures, speak different languages, having different perspectives, and that just adds a dimension that you can't create artificially.
Today we're going to be talking about ethical dilemmas in environmental...
Global issues demand global solutions, and global solutions can only come about when we can speak the languages of the people from other cultures. And the ultimate return is a better, more sustainable, peaceful world.
Creativity and innovation are at the heart of everything we do.
I mean, I think that Middlebury does a very good job of allowing students to follow their passion when they're on campus, both in having open research papers and being willing to really be committed to this liberal arts idea. Another really important part of that is obviously supporting student innovation outside of the classroom and having the resources necessary for students to go on and say, okay, I wrote a paper about this, but now I actually want to go do it.
The set of answers that we've dealt with in the past aren't going to work much further into the future. That's why a liberal arts education at the moment is probably the most important education one could get.
Democratic society characterized by equality.
Engineers alone can't provide the answer, and economists alone can't provide the answer, and it's only when the same people have enough science and have enough economics and have enough policy and have enough sense of poetry too to be able to understand what needs to be done and why it needs to be done. That's what's happening here.
6 clean, 7 clean, 8 not rushed.
Я об этом не думаю.
then if we increase the investment in these areas, then we have higher labor productivity.
It can't start flowing instantaneously because the current can't change instantaneously. So
Middlebury matters because it provides the educational environment that has the best chance of producing students who will go on to become leaders in the 21st century. The language schools, the schools abroad, the Breadloaf Schools of English, and the Monterey Institute of International Studies all combine with the undergraduate college to allow us to educate students for the 21st century and to take the liberal arts and expand it into the real world.
We live in times of challenge and change, and as it has throughout its history, Middlebury is seizing the opportunities, anticipating the future, to educate active, curious, engaged global citizens. After more than 200 years, a journey that makes a difference.